Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Meta Monday. Today we are discussing a rather wonderful case of cheating we have found at the Alamo GT. The Alamo
could literally not be the worst name. He's at the Alamo. He's just the last man standing.
He ain't going to be standing. This guy is
not
gone.
Standing.
This guy is gone. And I'm going to present the case to you, my friend. You've not heard. I don't know about this case. So
I've got absolutely nothing about it. I don't even have a screen in front of me to
I
not
forgot
ruin
to get
it.
the iPad.
It doesn't matter. Don't worry.
Do you not want the chat?
No, screw the chat.
We know what they're like. We know what they're like.
God.
If you're watching us live, we will be hearing your opinion to find out if you think this person is in the wrong and what they should do about it. If you are not joining us live, welcome to the show. Thanks for watching us. Consider being a member of the channel. We have a description to be a member in the details below. You get extra shows on a Monday, on a Thursday. You get access to our Discord, which is...
There's some interesting stuff that goes on.
It's a damn good Discord. I think it's a damn good Discord, if I don't say so myself. So consider being a member, like and subscribe. Thanks for joining us. And we were actually on time, Liam. I was just saying it was
so
7.
funny. I saw the thing come up. You went, right, I'm going to the toilet. Then all of a sudden the thing pinged on my phone like, we're live in 3. And I was like, so he sat on the toilet like Discording now. And then like I was like, what's he doing? And it was like a minute to go. And then he's shuffling around outside. And then you were like, I went for a shave. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I had time for a shave. I was like, what? You were like, I was looking for my shaver. Then I realised I probably didn't have enough time left. What the hell?
It's just how my brain works. I was like, we've got 2 minutes left. In that 2 minutes, I could shave.
To be fair, the way both our brains work, we could go in that 2 minutes, we could probably solve world hunger if we really put our minds to it.
Yeah.
But instead,
Big
we
time.
talk about Warhammer and if we need a shave or not.
Mate, what have we done with our lives?
God knows.
We could have solved so many of the world's major issues.
I'd probably have a Nobel Peace Prize by this point in time if I'd actually applied myself to something.
Maybe 2.
Well, yeah.
Bookshot comes in strong with some membership straight off the bat. What a G. We appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
You are a normal man.
We're just normal men.
I'm so glad you pressed the right one then.
What do you mean,
That was
normal
close.
men? We're just innocent men.
Yep, I'm getting good with the soundboard out, my friend.
It's only taken us, how many months have we been doing this now?
Quite a few. TTB said, "What Paul's solution to world hunger is turning us all into robots."
G3PO.
It's not an awful idea.
G3PO is the original. Is she the, what do you call it? Like the prototype?
She's V1.
Is she V1? Not sure you should have said it like that.
She's version 1.
Okay, that's better. That's a better way of saying it.
Listen, I think next week we do a show on world hunger and see if we just do half an hour on it. I'm sure a few people have thought about it before, but
I mean, I'm not
me and you could
100% sure we could do it justice, to be honest with you.
I think we're going to give it a damn good go. Welcome to everybody joining. G does know that we call her G3PO.
Does she know?
Yeah. People were inquiring quite a lot about G on Thursday and asking if she would ever like run the stream and all that sort of thing. And I was like,
I think there's too much that could be said.
no. And then someone was asking who's in charge of the hat, like who's in.
I'm worried. Thank
you, Ellis, there with the I'm worried emoji. I was like, G, definitely in charge. Like I can't like coerce G into doing this.
We could get BBJ in to do the stream, couldn't we?
Moving on, right? So basically, I have found. Honestly, I'm so happy to present this case to you,
Mate.
It's just the best. It's just the best piece of like complete drama and chaos I've seen in a long time. It's fun. No, don't be laughing at him saying BBJ, guys. That's absolutely. We're not bringing him onto the show.
He's not coming on.
He's not welcome on this platform. We will not be giving him any airtime. Okay.
So was this like a big event though as well, or was it like a?
It was on the Meta Monday. So somebody, Meta Monday, our good friend
JMS,
JCMS,
yeah,
support JCMS. He posted on Reddit and was like, "Here's the results," and someone very quickly corrected and said, "Oh, by the way, the person that you've got there as winning with Marines didn't win, and there's been a red card notice." And immediately I was like, "Here we go."
And we're deep diving Reddit, baby.
Yeah, here we go. We're going in. What on earth is a red card notice, right? So then I click the link. So this guy won. He won the event.
Oh,
right?
he won it.
He won the event. First place, won the event.
Okay.
And I've got it up so people can see the the thing. So the judge, retrospectively, wrote an article and posted it on his website, alamo40kgt.com.
So was the last game streamed?
No, it wasn't streamed. No. It was just inserted onto Meta Monday. So I don't have the video
of it,
but I have the tale of what happened.
Okay.
And you haven't got that, so I should get you the iPad. But basically, the front image is basically him with a tape measure measuring how high a storm raven is with like different pictures. So like one of him just holding it normally, which people should be able to see. Then one of him sort of like pushing down on the front of the storm raven. One of him pushing down on the front of the storm raven with a dread knight as a comparison. Then a shot from behind the back showing the back of the storm raven again with a dread knight for comparison. So that's the sort of like opening thing. And this is what he says.
What?
Right? It'll make sense, right? This is what he says. And lads, let me know what you think has gone wrong. TTB says, remember the Alamo.
Remember the Alamo.
This past weekend at the this is written by the judge, the man himself. This past weekend at the Alamo GT, I, the judge, was found to be at fault and was bamboozled.
Great use of the word. Someone got word of the day toilet paper, didn't they?
We've had a bamboozling.
I've been bamboozled.
He comes out and his wife's like, how'd you go? And he goes, we had a bamboozle.
We got bamboozled. The whole tournament's a write-off, got bamboozled.
Do you remember bamboozle on teletext?
No. I remember teletext being like watching the football scores update on teletext.
But, sorry, this is classic Meta Monday.
It's just me and you.
Meta Monday were like, right, how can we immediately get off topic? I'm sure it was called Bamboozled, and it was like a quiz that you could do. You know teletext, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not that much. We're the same age.
Yeah.
You would go on, and there was a certain code you'd put in on teletext, and it would come up with a quiz called Bamboozled.
You know the dinosaur game? You know the dinosaur game on like if you've got no internet? And the dinosaur comes up. You know, if you press spacebar, he starts jumping.
Yeah, that is a subject change, actually. I want us to stay on Bamboozled for a second.
Okay.
Bamboozled was a thing. That was like one of the first games I would play, was Bamboozled. Anyway, round 6 of the top table, right? So this is the winner. Round 6, yeah. He's called over by this player. And I can't remember his name. We can read him out and sort of like create some libel cases later on. He was called over and asked if the Storm Raven wings can be charged. Okay. Yeah. So Storm Raven, it's in. They can either be in hover or they could be in aircraft. If it's in aircraft, it can only be charged with things with fly.
Yeah.
If it's in hover, then normal vehicle rules apply. It's in hover because I've done the research. It's in hover. It's not. It's not in aircraft. So he was asked, can the Storm Raven wings be charged? While at the table, a measurement showed a height of greater than 5 inches. Yeah. Preventing the charge interaction from the other player's army. So the judge comes over, measures it, it's above 5, and he goes, so you can't charge it, sorry. Even though it's not in aircraft mode, it's in hover mode, there's legally no way any of your models can legally charge this model. It's basically invincible.
Unless it bases it,
If you touch the base of it, then you're within, then it's fine.
Yeah.
But the wings obviously
the wings stick out. Yeah.
Later that evening, at approximately 2200. Now the man's given.
Why is he giving times?
He's given the times,
mate. He's not going to get.
He's
up
given
in
the
court.
times and he's given the evidence. Mate. Right. So he gets home. He gets in at 9 o'clock. Wife goes, "How are you doing?" He goes, "I think we've had a bamboozling." He said, "I think we've had a bamboozling. I'm just going to go upstairs and get the measure out. Okay.
Oh, no.
I'll be down for tea in a bit."
Yeah. Put it in the oven, love, because I've got some stuff that needs sorting right now.
He comes in. He goes. In fact, this guy. This is what he said. He went, "Put it in the oven, bitch. We've had a bamboozling," and he just walked straight past her. He's aggressive.
Just like, don't even talk to me.
Don't say that.
I'm worried.
Don't even.
We've had a swear word. I think we're outside of 5 minutes.
Let's go.
9 minutes 13. We're fine. We're
perfect.
fine. We're fine. We're fine. Whew. Shout out to all my teletext brothers.
They all know about it.
There's some teletexters in there. The teletext boys. Right. So it's 2200 and he's back upstairs with his lights are on and he's got the measure out. I dug out a seldom used Storm Raven, a new flying stand. So he's got a fresh flying stand and a... What's that noise?
You're playing yourself through the thing. You've unplugged something.
There we go. I was just playing ourselves on a phone. I was like, I can hear my voice.
There's someone under the table.
Wait a minute. G3PO's playing his... No. Oh, that's a weird thought of G being unsaid. Anyway, it's quite obvious.
Why?
I'm worried.
No.
It's quite obvious. Here we go. This is we're getting into it now. It's quite obvious that the rear of the Storm Raven cannot be charged when using models measuring from the base, but can be charged when measuring from the hull. However...
I'm just Googling a Storm Raven so I can get the idea of what... I'm trying to remember which one it is.
It's
I think
awful.
I know.
It's like the sort of...
Is it the one with like the wings
dumpy,
that, like...
It's awful.
I'm going to just Google it. Sorry.
Johnny in the chat. Hello, friend. I came in and you guys are playing with yourselves.
Yeah, I know
worried.
what it is.
I need to start remembering what all the other soundboards are.
Discode code Epic Flail.
What's that from?
That's a Black Crow podcast when Adam went on and convinced them to read this out. So in the middle of their live stream.
Discode code Epic Flail. Adam L.
Superb. Right, so he says it's quite obvious from the rear of the Storm Raven could not be charged when using the models measuring base. It's too high up.
Yeah.
But can be charged. Yeah, you've got it up right. However, the question at hand was, can the wings be charged? And should there be? Hence the bamboozling.
It's a different question.
So we've had a bamboozling because he said he charged the wing.
Yeah.
So what happened with the measurement? So he's conducted his assessment at 2200.
Yeah.
And he said, right, the only things that can explain this is either one, faulty tape measure.
Ooh. Bringing dodgy tape measures is a... Like,
faulty tape measure.
That's a big, weird
I feel like
thing.
that's I feel like that's probably the least likely one of his list.
I'm going to go with that. Probably shouldn't be number one.
Like creating a faulty or dodgy tape measure to get what is in essence a couple of extra minutes. That's unlikely.
Yeah,
that's unlikely. Number two, and this I love this phrase: modelling for advantage.
Yeah, obviously.
I want to talk more about modelling for an advantage and how we can really abuse this. Number three, and I like this one a lot: pressing the model down from the front so as to lift it off the stem, creating the distance. So he's accusing the player of potentially, when the measurement was taking place, he's on the other side, pressing it down to elevate the wing to put it outside of 5 inches. That's interesting, isn't it?
It's not a massive model. It's not like you can't notice it going on.
That's what I love about
What
this.
is he like? So what,
like,
the bloke's like
measure
stood
that.
here like this, like pushing it down, and the bloke's on the other side of literally the size of this microphone doing a tape measurement.
Yeah. That's what I like.
He's not covered himself in glory so
like
far, has he,
pushing
this judge?
He's not helping himself.
He's not helping himself.
No one's going to come out of this well. No one. The judge or the player or goes, no one's going to come out of this investigation without a load of shit
getting some
on
grief.
basically.
Yeah.
It's bad for everyone. It's bad for everyone. Option number 4, poor quality control. I don't know what that means. Is that maybe that's at Games Workshop? Maybe he's saying
some of the flight stands are different heights or something. Because they used to come with 2 flight stands. I swear some of the models used to come with 2, and you'd have one that was like slightly shorter, then you'd have a longer one.
Why would you not just pick the long one every time?
Yeah, but I know, like,
sorry, mate,
some of the other like little flying, like little jet bikes and stuff like that.
Yeah, they have 2. The
different
Custodes
size
one
ones.
have 2.
Yeah, so I think some of them come with like multiple size flying bases as well.
So number 1, it's not a faulty tape measure, is it? Because like if you've measured it with your tape measure,
yeah, it's not.
That's a stretch. Modelling for advantage, sure. Pressing down from the front as to lift the stem is just hilarious. Like that's great.
I
That's
can't
some Darren
believe
Brown.
that he'd even like
That's
look
good.
over here while I'm doing something
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah, that's great. Poor quality control, fine, but that's not the player's fault,
No,
right? If like GW aren't making consistent size bases, that's not the player's fault.
It feels like the geezer just can't measure properly.
Well, he ain't messed around in the next paragraph.
Go on then.
So he's conducted an investigation at 2200, one of those things, and then he just drops this, right? The player will receive a red card and a lifetime ban from their events. A pardon may be petitioned no earlier than Alamo GT 2026. The retroactive red card is being awarded. Says it as though like, oh, congrats.
Congratulations, you've won the prize of getting booted out of the tournament.
Do you know what? I've awarded you with the prize of not only slagging you off publicly in front of the entire Warhammer community who've talked about this at length on Reddit,
do you not?
but all your mates. Like,
do you not?
Congratulations.
Do you not feel like the first sentence was like a 1700s trial? Just read it again and just imagine this guy's in like the stocks or something.
The retroactive red card is being awarded due to the following reasons.
Yeah.
I do my medieval Inquisition
Yeah, do you know what I
voice.
mean? It's like a bit like
So silly.
why has he gone in?
This is his logic, Liam. So this is what he's decided. 1, the player knew the edge case scenario should have been brought to the judge before the event and failed to personally communicate that before or during the event.
What? So what you're saying that we've got to measure all of our flyers to check what height? But what if they are over 5?
Well, then it could be you've either got a faulty tape measure, modelled for advantage. Were you pressing the model down while measuring, or poor quality control from Games Workshop? Harsh, right? So like the retroactive red card's been awarded for that, but then he's thrown these things in, which people need to tell me what on earth this is.
Okay.
Angle shooting.
Angle shooting.
I looked on Reddit, right, and I might be wrong. Louis, welcome Louis, mate. I've seen Louis in the chat. Louis should know the answer to this for sure. What on earth is an accusation of angle shooting? Reddit said it was something about. I thought it would be people saying, "I've got line of sight here," like like.
I would have thought it's like literally that you've poked like the wing of the thing out.
This is what I thought.
And then you're shooting from like the wing that's poking out.
Yeah,
there.
that's what I thought.
Like, sorry, I'm moving away from the mic.
No,
like you're poking out the wing, and then you're like shooting like that way. So you literally a little bit of your thing is poking out the side of the train.
I thought it was that, but that's
legal.
legal. Apparently, it's when someone pushes and pushes and pushes for dodgy shooting and tries to convince you that certain things can happen when they can't happen. So it's basically cheating. It's like relentlessly pushing for line of sight and activations and things that shouldn't be able to go on.
Okay.
Weird. But that's nothing to do with his... Like, so weird, isn't it? This guy's like, I came over and measured the Storm Raven.
Yeah.
It was outside of 5, so you're banned. Oh, and also, you're getting banned for angle shooting, which, yeah, to chat. Has anyone in the chat heard of angle shooting before?
I haven't heard that term.
Then he's lumped this one in. Past history at previous events in the local area.
Oh, behave. Like, come on.
Just like... And you've done stuff in the past that I've fully banned yet.
Yeah, like... You did something like slightly that was probably a little bit, but you know, last time at the tournament when you like punched someone, banned you for
you
that.
owe me for a meal deal from 2021.
You never reciprocated that donut we all shared together.
Yeah.
Like
the whole scenario is unfortunate, and I apologise to other attendees for the lack of vigilance on my part, and for any poor experience the players may have had due to that. The decision to red card the player is entirely of my own choice and was not advocated for on the behalf of his opponents or influenced by any other person in the community.
Well, it obviously has
10:30, he's back downstairs, he's sat with a wife, he's switched off.
Mate, I reckon
but that was a wild half hour he's had there.
Mate, I reckon he's done 4 Stellas and absolutely
he's had a wild...
smashed her that night.
Easy.
She's getting beaten one way or the other.
Liam. Too far.
Too far.
Liam's unawarded.
Liam's
unawarded. Can't get rid of that now. No, hang on. That's mad. Do you not think that's a mad... Do you think that's a bit of a mad case today? I'm going to read out chat comments. Please tell me, guys in the chat, what you think to that. Who is in the right? Who is in the wrong? What on earth is angle shooting? Why has someone been retrospectively banned from events when they've clearly... Because if he hadn't have done that, would he not have been banned for the other thing? And I don't know this guy. And
I personally think that the player has done very, very little wrong here.
With the facts we've got on there.
With the facts we've got on there, I'd almost be tempted to say he's pretty much done nothing wrong. Because previous events are previous events. If you had an issue with someone at a previous event, should have been raised then. If there's stuff that's gone on in earlier rounds, then that should have been raised in those rounds. Like,
100%.
You can't just go, oh yeah, well, we had this one dodgy measurement, and then go, well, no one's influenced my decision, which he says, no one's, but we've also going to judge all these things he did in a previous round. You're like, well, someone's obviously said something to you. Like, there's obviously a group chat going on somewhere where someone's been like, oh yeah, well, he did this in the one round, and like, oh yeah, I had to go over and like, because the judges must have a chat, surely. Because if it's a big event, the judges will have a chat.
It's a serious event. Yeah, I don't think this is like a little 20-player tickle biscuit. It's a serious, like...
But if it's literally just the measuring of the wings, that's just absolutely ridiculous.
There's so much to get into here. I'm going to read out some of the comments, and I see Guy has given a definition of angle shooting, which apparently comes from poker. So we'll look at that.
Okay.
We'll look at the proper definition for it. Added context, on Reddit, many people then started measuring their Storm Raven.
Oh, okay, nice.
And it turns out half of them were over 5. You know,
of course they were.
It's chaos. Like, there are loads of people that were like, well, mine is exactly the same. It's over 5 inches. So, like, this concept of like modelling for advantage, that doesn't seem that when multiple people can then come online and say, well, we've measured our Storm Ravens and they're also over 5 inches.
Yeah.
It seems unfair to publicly accuse someone of modelling for advantage when actually it's just quite common amongst that.
Well, let's
model.
be fair.
That's a bit brutal.
All 4 of those accusations, then, if the Storm Raven can be over 5 inches, are all bollards, then, aren't they? Because he hasn't got a 40 tape measure.
There's no way it's a 40 tape.
He hasn't measured for it. He hasn't modelled for advantage. He hasn't pushed it down to make it higher because it could be that high anyway.
And number 4's GW's fault.
Yeah, but number 4 is just generic anyway because some of them are higher than the others anyway.
It's just so
Oh, mate, I cannot. As a judge,
there's all the pictures he's released of it are just really funny.
is the judge actually all right? Does someone need to have a word with him?
He signed it off at the bottom.
Is he like giving it the old with the old wax in the ring and everything with Alamo written on it?
I'm gonna read all this stuff out in the chat in a sec, but like, people did come on Reddit and say we know this guy and like, yeah, bit of a nightmare. Like there is a bit of a reputation for this player, but what seems unfair and what seems an abuse. Everyone's we're gonna try and throw shit at everybody here, but because it's always the best way, isn't it? But like from a player's perspective, that it would be quite worrying going to an event where overnight, without talking to you, at 10 o'clock
after the event in the morning,
someone drops a blog being like, "You're banned for my events," and you've done this without just maybe calling, a phone, some kind of chat or interaction that could then be included in the blog and say, "Me and the player had a discussion and blah 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 blah," and we worked it out. Because if I was a player and someone said, "You're modelling for advantage," I'd say, "Okay, well, can we just do a little survey on like, I know 3 or 4 lads who've got this model. Can I just get them to send you pictures of the height?"
Yeah, or can
we just do a little bit more research rather than you, after you've shouted at your wife, gone up to, what I mean?
I'm not being funny.
He allegedly shouted at his wife.
There must be other, I guess, a Storm Raven something that people are playing at the moment. If someone's gone 6-0 at a decent tournament with it, it must be in lists at the moment, surely. I don't know.
Someone
but surely you could be at a big event and go, right, just get a judge. Who's got a Storm Raven? Right, if we're that worried about it, but instead of absolutely caning someone at the event, surely you could just wander around and have a measure of some Storm Ravens at the event.
But what the judge is saying, that he was bamboozled by them. So, like, I don't know what that interaction would have looked like to bamboozle Dave, but he's basically thinks that the player has spun him off on a bit of a nonsense lie and distracted him whilst maybe interfering with the model. I'm going to scroll back.
Some chat.
I'm going to read out some of the chat because lots of. I'm going to jump to Louis because I know he's an experienced tournament player. So I'm just going to read a couple of Louis' comments further back. Was power crazed American TO is a silly billy here. Unintentionally modelling errors happen all the time. If it's an issue that can't be resolved between players, just ask to remove the model. Red card equals nonsense.
Yeah,
fair. The red card feels a bit harsh. But then we have Cody. Nari, he had secretly installed a jack inside of the hull of the Storm Raven to stealthily raise it up higher. Dodgy indeed.
Did he get it off Brandon? I bet he got the jack off Brandon.
Yeah. Brandon, are you selling like...
There's a photo of this fella like literally measuring, just see Brandon in the background like sneaking back out the door.
Did you see someone spotted Brandon's little Del Boy trailer recently?
Yeah, I saw it, mate. That's so good.
So angle shooting. A couple of people jumped in with this.
Yeah.
Vincent, Luke and Guy. Angle shooting usually refers to underhanded or unethical tactics in an attempt to gain an edge against opponents. TTB said, I've heard of angle shooting being people claiming they have LOS and you don't have it, but not sure if that's really is. And then Guy had said, angle shooting refers to being underhanded or unethical tactics in an attempt to gain an edge against opponents. It's a poker term.
But okay, right. So
that's just thrown in though of like previous events.
So what I'm saying is, if there had been incidents of, let's call it, manipulating the rules to suit his him,
yeah.
Well, then give examples of it. Say like, we had incidents of him saying that he had line of sight when he didn't. We had incidents of him mismeasuring charges. We had incidents of, poor sportsmanship on allowing out of sequence stuff. Like, give an example. Don't just go, the bloke's a bit shady, isn't he?
Yeah,
Because that's essentially all you've said, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly what he's
Geezer's shady. Well, tell us why he's shady.
Geezer's
Just
shady. Done it before, and again, to keep, we'll come to the player and we'll talk about GW rules, but to stick with the judge bit for a second, you are providing a service when you're a judge.
Yeah,
it's a transaction of cash, and it's a transaction of time, isn't it? It's I'm going to give you money, and my time's valuable, and I'm going to spend some of it, under your, not so much supervision because I'm not looking after you, but your event. And as a player, we know there are shady characters, and maybe this guy's, maybe if we spoke to people from this community, they'd say, do you know what, he's a bit of a nightmare, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
but it's not a good precedent for an event to retrospectively bring up retrospective things. So it's kind of like, not only is he making accusations about this guy that's played the event, but he's then going even further back than that. He's like, and also there's stuff in the past.
He's been a bit naughty at a previous event.
Yeah, that's like, it's it feels harsh enough to retrospectively bring it up, without the person being able to defend himself. But then to mention,
it almost feels personal.
It
does feel a bit like maybe the guy that's got banned. Maybe because the judge isn't talking to his wife a lot when they get in. Maybe she's gone on the scout. Maybe she's found matey boy. He's mismeasuring stuff because he's got a dodgy tape measure. There's pictures flying around, and maybe she's been unfaithful with Stormraven.
We'll call him Sammy Stormraven.
Sammy Stormraven and old bazonkas. No, not bazonkas. Bamboos. Bazonkas.
Bazonkas definitely sounds like something else that you couldn't get on teletext.
Yeah. Oh God, it's all gone wrong. The old bamboozled judge is sat outside the window there's Stormraven Sammy meeting my missus for coffee again.
CCV says holy bazonkas.
Oh dear. But you know what I mean? It feels a bit like there's something else going on here, and he's tried to disguise it in this elaborately written.
Well, it's just
none of it's just rubbish.
It's bad, isn't it? It's really bad. It just feels really harsh. Oh, there's some comments underneath. Oh, it's just one person. Oh no, one person says insane, and then someone else said, I measured mine for shits and giggles, and this ruling retrospectively seems stupid to me. Mine measured 100% unmodified, 5 1/4 inches high to the wing. So it's not modified at all.
Mate. Some of those bases are longer, shorter, fatter, thinner. It's like all sorts, isn't it?
Holy bazonkas. Johnny says maybe the previous complaints were also documented. Maybe you'd think he'd include them in the.
I think you should have. If you've got to include them, and I don't think you should have done it the night after you got back because everything's a bit heightened. Me and you say this after we finish this podcast, don't we? We're like, we need an hour or something to turn off.
Yeah.
So the worst thing you could do is go home, do you know what? I'm going to tap a load of rubbish out on my computer and just fire it out there.
Just really good advice in life is to never do anything during a strong emotion. If you're having a strong emotion, don't communicate. Write the email or write the blog or do the thing and then look at it when you the next day or calmer, and you'd be amazed how little of that email remains. Yeah, I've done it with clients or life when I'm going to say this and I write it. Always send it the next day, and then you look at that show, you're like, what the fuck? What was I thinking?
Delete.
I feel like, why have I written that?
But yeah, and the other thing I think the judge definitely should have done is at least have a chat with a fella. At least go to him, phone him up and be like,
he's giving you money. Ring him up and at least have an honest conversation. Say, listen, mate, I think you bamboozled me, right? I've come home, I've seen my wife's bazonkas, and I've realised I've been bamboozled. Yeah. Okay?
Sammy Store. Bring your Sammy Store. You know my address, because you've obviously been here when I've been out.
You've been round.
Having a look. Yeah, having a look at something. Bring your Stormraven round, and I've got my undodgy tape measure, because apparently we all own a dodgy tape measure now, and let's have a measure up. Let's get them out and have a measure up. Get our Stormravens out and have a measure up.
Get your Ravens out for Harambe.
Yeah.
Stu says him being naughty at a previous event is relevant. Sorry, I'll read this again because I've just completely misquoted. It said the complete opposite what you said. Him being naughty at previous events is relevant. Apparently, he'd asked a different judge at this event previously about this exact rules interaction and being told. Him asking again is angle shooting. Interesting. So maybe it's the persistence of trying to scam.
But he should.
Maybe it's knowing that this one's 5 1/4. That if I ask again, if I keep, you know what I mean?
I think it's different. So say you took the Storm Raven off the stand, and he's got a massive chunk of blue tack on the top of the stand that's making it higher. You know, like something like that is obviously cheating, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's cheating.
But like bringing up a previous event, then go, well, we've had this interaction at a previous event. He's been told that this is the rule, and he's obviously then trying to manipulate the rule again to work in his favour at this event. 2 yellows makes a red, like something like that. But just to be like, yeah, he's a bit dodgy with his Storm Raven. Red card, off you go, mate. See you later.
It feels really harsh, and a lot of people on Reddit were definitely like, "That's a bit of a wild."
Yeah,
that's a bit of a wild ruling.
Do you not remember the other one we looked at when it was the one that was on stream and they took the stream down? Yeah. But the geezer had done like a full breakdown of like this minute in the thing, this rule was like, and it was like 23 points.
Oh,
and you were like, okay, 1 or 2, yes.
Yeah.
But all of them, there's something going on. I mean, it's at an event, it's like one thing that the judges picked up on and then just gone, oh, well, yeah, there was other stuff, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. And he's a bit of a reprobate from the last one, so even
if he is right, let's say, and this is alleged. Let's say this guy's a nightmare.
Yeah,
absolute nightmare to play. We know he does angle shooting or whatever, which that term we're now more familiar with. He does all this dodgy stuff at the table.
Yeah,
like I don't know. Can you just like to think that if that was the case, the tournament scene or that event would have a way of dealing with him which was better than this? Do you know what I mean? You just hope that, like, if someone is doing that, it's your responsibility as a judge or as a tier or whatever to have a system to be like, we know this guy's dodgy, so we do X, we do Y, we do Z. Not this. This is...
So what this feels like as well, apart from he's obviously Sammy Stormraven's in and around something, is that this guy's obviously a pain in the backside on this scene. What it feels like is they've jumped on the first thing they can to go, do you know what? Banned.
He's done.
He's done. And then this means that he's removed from the scene for 2 years, because he probably runs a lot of events, this guy.
Yeah.
He's removed from the scene for 2 years, and we can all have some nice tournaments for the next 2 years. Because there's obviously an issue with this fella. But if there is, at least give everyone a bit more context behind it. Go, you know what? He turns up to events. He's a bit of a knob. He cheats on rules. He does bad interactions. He's not sporting. And we've just said to him, like, you know, this was the last straw.
It just feels way too harsh. Machine says Ravens out for Harambe, which I think is a good call to action.
What,
TTB
just
says,
over 5 inches?
5 inches for Harambe. TTB says, what did you know about the Clintons? Which is a good question. We don't know the answer to that.
How often do you think about the Romans?
Mate, a lot, especially on my honeymoon, which a lot of you didn't think actually went on.
I'm surprised.
And then
even she's
when,
allowed on a plane.
Even when I then presented you with facts about Roman history, you still questioned me, despite me being at the location.
I didn't think lithium batteries were allowed on planes. So what power core have you used for G3PO?
She set off really early and walked
through the sea. She just came out like that.
She's got WD-40. She's fine. Return to the old world. Hope you're doing well, my friend, and hopefully see you tomorrow at the club. It says, surely a judge call at one event doesn't bind unconnected judges sat future events, though, especially in edge cases.
Yeah, I think we've all had events where we've maybe got a rule wrong, or, you know, not quite maybe had the interaction that we should have done, or had a bad experience with someone. But then you might play another event and be like, oh, all right, like, you know, it's not as bad as it was. Maybe so-and-so was having a bad day. Maybe he was hungover. You know.
Agree. Someone earlier in the chat asked me to mention War Machine.
No one asked you to mention War Machine.
Tim, I think it was Tim.
No, it's just you. You're secretly under the phone, under the table with that hand.
I've just said
G3PO's underneath the table with the phone.
I've just said War Machine.
Paul, mention War Machine.
My boys at Steamforged Games just bought War Machine.
Cool.
Great.
Cool story, bro.
All right. How would the game that should not be named deal with this?
capping.
never ever knew anything like this. There's only like a few people that ever got banned, and that was because they got caught on streaming nudging a model. But there was so little. The third bit of this, we're going to move on to the player now, and then we're going to conclude with GW.
Yeah.
But like GW rules are awful for this. Like, how has this even happened? How on earth have you got a competitive rule set where this is even a thing? What on earth is going on? Why are things not standardised? Why are we measuring from bits of a hull which could be at different distances? Not only based on the irregularity of the base that GW sell, but how people model them. What a stupid rule.
What if you just put it on a scenic base?
Exactly.
That's like higher.
Exactly. What if you model it on an angle? Like, it's just so the judge is...
The judge has lost his mind.
This is not a good rule.
The judge has done a lot of crack.
This is bad. Luke says, "What's a better system?" And I mean that you mean what better system for? Like, what should you do? Definitely. I mean, I don't know. Luke, you're way more versed than I am with running events and the like. I've run a couple, but nowhere near as many of you have. But having a conversation with a player before you make a public statement feels absolutely courteous.
100%.
Like in the modern age where stuff stays on the internet forever, and when people that play competitively, why did you look like that when I said stays on the internet? It looked like you had some kind of like internal flashback.
Yeah,
and you're okay.
No, not okay. Not okay.
I could see it looking right into your eyes when I said it. I looking right into your eyes.
See the light leave.
And I said, was this, I'm going to say it again. Things stay forever on the internet.
No.
And you literally, I saw you when you went, you had like
So
a
much
mini,
I remember.
you had like a mini seizure.
Oh, God, don't. I had one of those
sorry,
like waking seizure.
I won't use that phrase again.
Okay.
This is on there for a while, right?
Well, it's on there for at least 2 years because he's banned till 2026.
He's banned for 2 years. And the other things like competitive players, even whether they're like dodge pots and they're not that fun to play against, the whole reason they're doing it is to like build a profile and you know what I mean? It's about like, you know, people that compete competitively want to build results and like, it's not. I'm not looking for. I'm looking for the word. It's not like personality, but build like
persona.
a history. Yeah, persona. You know, and get results under the belt.
Yeah.
For someone to be like, oh, I'm banning you. Like, that'd be gutted. You'd be devastated. Even if you are a bit of a dodge pot, you'd be absolutely gutted. So the judge definitely has dropped the ball. And to answer Luke's question, surely you call the player, you have a chat with the player, and you reach some kind of resolution.
Wouldn't you just be like, look, mate, I'm not going to red card you publicly, but I'm not letting you buy a ticket for any of my events for the next year or something. And just be like, I'm not. We're not gonna do this in like the cold light of day because whatever, who cares? But from now on, for the next 2 years, you're not buying a ticket for my event. And if you do, I'll just refund you straight away.
The problem for the judge is the player's going to say, "What have I done wrong?" And the Storm Raven is on a normal GW base. Here's my mate's version. I mean, I just think that the problem the judge has then got in that more ethical way of doing this is, I'm not really sure. It ends up then being like, yeah, but I know you're dodgy and you've done this before and you've done that before and you do everything. And you go, well, hang on, what's that got to do?
Stacey said you cheated on me. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that kind of like nonsense.
There's a lot of hearsay going on, isn't there?
Judges messed up. Is there any reflections about the player with the information?
I don't think you've got enough info on him. If there was like a portfolio of this is what he's done at previous events, this is who he is, this is what he's done at previous events, he's had a warning at previous events for doing this, this is another blog that links to something else he was up to. I don't think, like, you know, what's there that actually says that this player, there's actually any real evidence that he did anything wrong, apart from hearsay and some dodgy tape measuring that people have got up to. There's nothing there.
There's just accusations, isn't there?
There's just
and again,
loads
that
of
like
accusations.
That is just like a bit. The thing do you remember we love talking about cheating accusation stuff. It's always like a really interesting discussion because it touches on the things that we're interested in. But do you remember the Manny one with Imagine All with Lennon?
Oh yeah.
I mean, people were going off on that, and it was all on video. So like people were like absolutely losing their minds on that, but it was all there. You could just watch it.
He didn't even cheat. He just worked the measurement out wrong.
I know. But this I feel is. I mean, obviously it's not as high a profile. That was like the biggest game of the year, wasn't it? It was literally like a final. But this still, like, you got to feel rough for the player.
I just think that irrespective of what he's done previously,
he might be dodgy. There might be people that watch this and are just like, you've no idea.
Yeah,
you have no idea. This guy
where's the evidence for it?
Yeah, and maybe he is, but that's the responsibility of the tournament to stop that and have a system for addressing it, and not just go in. We just sort of let it fly until someone annoys the judge and bamboozles them, and then they just slag them off online and ban them.
Yeah.
Like, that can't be the system. The system can't be like, oh yeah, people are a nightmare and you know, push the rules and do this angle shooting thing. But it only ever comes up when the judge wants to like take them down. All right,
so
great.
what's
nice system?
So say you're in, like, and this is obviously a massive stretch, but he's being prosecuted for saying in a court. The evidence is. Model might have been tampered with, might not have been. We don't actually know. So and so said you're a bit dodgy, and so said you did this. Guilty is charged, mate.
Guilty, mate. You're
guilty. Done.
You're out of
Lock
here,
him
lad.
up. Throw away the key.
You're out of here, lad.
Might as well put him in the chair, son. Like, you know what I mean? It's just not. It's not convincing. And I think if the judge had done what you said and written that, and then gone, do you know what? I'm going to come back to that in the morning after I've slept on it and had a thought. I don't think that would be on the internet right now.
I agree, and it's been up for like over a week now. Telly says this is more exciting than the Trump trial. Never mind Stormy Daniels. Is Harambe out for Stormy Raven?
Someone's got to do a meme of like Harambe just like appearing around the corner with a little storm raven there.
Ali Delta says Liam's dalliance. Is that a word? Liam's dalliance into OnlyFans is coming to the surface.
Well, mate, we talked about this in Molly Mahone's the other week. Me, BBJ, and
I'm worried.
someone else. Yeah.
I'm worried.
There was a whole thing about a tricycle and a sandwich. It was very strange.
Wait.
Are you muting me?
Hang on.
Just because you can do something doesn't mean you have to.
I don't know, like Feet Finder seems like a thing, though.
For me, maybe that is too expensive.
Yeah, maybe Feet Finder is too expensive.
I'm starting to learn where you are on the soundboard.
But yeah, for me...
Telly says, does the community need to start a GoFundMe for this player? Get him on discount course to prepare for his tournaments.
Get him on the old...
Mr. Hatch says, I know a cult he could join.
I know a cult he could... Was his name like Boxton's Fox or something? It's just him with a moustache on and a black cap. Jesus.
My own reflection at this whole thing, right, is like, Judge, I think we've done a good dive into like, what on earth was this judge thinking? Why has this happened? We've given some nuance to like, the player might be a nightmare. We don't know, but like, based on what's on the internet, maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but that still feels like you're banned.
Yeah.
It's still a bit harsh. The thing that I thought about a lot since I saw this was like, why do these rules exist like this? Why are people playing a game competitively? And I'm not saying you shouldn't. I love 40k competitive. I think it's great. It's really good. Not slagging it off and saying it's a pointless endeavour. Asking a reasonable question around how are GW able to write these rules that still have so much ambiguity in them? And I will say again and again and again, this game can only be taken seriously competitively when we're talking about bases and base sizes.
And
not models.
This is what I'm exactly going to go to.
Bits of a model is genuinely the dumbest rule I've ever heard on anything.
Okay, so let's use this as an example, right? So I'm going to take the Storm Raven out of it. I'm going to put the Space Wolf flyer in. Mm-hmm. Have you seen the Space Wolf flyer with the massive nose on it?
Yeah, Matt's. I think
Matt's,
I've seen
Matt's got one.
It on stream.
Yeah, Matt's had it on stream. So that thing overhangs by like 3 or 4 inches, right? So what are you measuring to? You measuring to the base or the front of that? Because then surely you just fly it around in reverse, wouldn't you?
So any bit of that model poking out a terrain piece can
then
see
shoot.
something.
But then you get to infantry models. So say you've got a big horde of orcs, right? And you've got your boss knob hanging over with his power claw, an inch over his base. Well, when you're charging, you don't measure to that, do you? You measure to the base. You've never seen anyone measure an infantry charge to a bit overhanging the base, have you? It's always base to base. So why are flyers different?
I think the evolution of this, I think, has been, and I've always thought this is weird, even from when I'd play as a kid. I find it like, I've seen if there's one nearby for me to grab. I think that, so I think...
Winged Hive Tyrant would work.
Well, I'm thinking basically my position is vehicles without bases look stupid. So I think knights look okay because they're stood up. Yeah. They have to be on a base. But in my head as a vehicle, that looks all right, they're on round bases. When I then see a Land Raider, it looks like a toy.
Mate, the whole Imperial Guard army.
It's not on a base. But that's how GW have made the kits, right? Going back to when we were kids.
Yeah.
You know, you think of like the original Lehman Russ.
Yeah.
It was just a Lehman Russ. You built it and it did look like a toy. It wasn't on a base. Putting it on the base was there was
not
no
a
need.
thing.
Yeah, there's no thing. So the rules have just kept being built and built and built upon that to the point where GW know that like Land Raiders, Rhinos, Lehman Russes, they don't have bases. So you have, because they don't have a base, you have to write these vehicle rules that don't mention bases. They mention hulls. Do you know what I mean? So they've put themselves in a corner by not putting vehicles on bases. Whereas if you put a vehicle on a base, you measure charges to the base. Just measure it to the base.
But then you look at a vehicle like a Baneblade. What base are you putting that on?
A shoebox, converted shoebox.
Because you can't move it around terrain anyway. If you then put a base on it, but then you do all this stupid stuff with tanks with the turret. And like aiming the turret so it peeks around a corner and then like moving the turret and doing weird stuff like that. And you're like, or poking like Mortarion. I had this with a Death Guard player and he poked his wing out.
Oh yeah, I had that at GT the other week.
And he poked his wing out, like literally that much. He was like, oh, Mortarion can see. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
He was like, well, yeah, technically you can. And you're like, oh, okay, like...
I had that the other day with someone, so you can see him saying, what, and his wing was just sticking up over the top of something.
Yeah, and you're like, oh.
And I was like, so you just see everything from that.
And you're like, but then you try and shoot him back, he's like, well, he's got cover. Shut up, mate. Yeah,
but there has to be a conversation around the judges. There's a problem here with the judge. There's definitely a problem with how people manipulate and bend the rules and do this whole angle shooting thing. But the foundation that everyone stood on, who just said, don't hate the player, hate the game? Ali, don't hate the player, hate the game. For the organiser, not putting a ruling in place so it doesn't happen again is stupid. The rules that govern the whole game create situations where people have to go, Judge, can you charge this Storm Raven? And that in itself is kind of a lame question, because like, well, you'd hope so. Because if I can't charge it,
what's it doing on the board?
That seems a bit stupid.
Yeah, why is it on the board?
Like it's just kind of a stupid question to ask, isn't it? Can you charge my vehicle that if we were going to be sensible, of course you can, because otherwise it would be stupid.
Yeah.
It wouldn't feel fair. But according to the rules, we've got to ask it, because if it's over 5 inches, it can't be engaged. There has to be a conversation at GW where they look at situations like this and go, do you think we could make the rules a bit clearer? And I swear down, I keep going on about it all the time. Base it. If it was bases, it would fix everything, because different base sizes would correlate to different heights. The Baneblade is a problem, though.
I think all the tanks were a
the
problem.
Baneblade is so large.
Such a box.
Like how big that base would have to be ridiculous. That base
It
would
would just
ridiculous.
overhang the base everywhere, wouldn't it? That's the problem.
Yeah.
It would then just overhang the base.
massive
And then you'll be like, well, then you've got an advantage, because the bit that's overhanging the base, is that what we're shooting from? So where's line of sight then drawn from?
Yeah, it's tricky.
So if the Baneblade overhangs by half an inch, well, is that half an inch what I'm drawing line of sight from to shoot?
I feel like it's got a bit. In my head, the only way to sensibly remove these sort of problems is to have laser-based line of sight from base to base.
Yeah.
And you have terrain then is like you have a terrain feature, and it has a certain height property, and certain bases can see over that height. Do you know what I mean? So like
Titanic models, like they used to.
Titanic models would see over ruins of X size. Do you know what I mean? You would then have to be like, oh well, this if because the other thing that's stupid is you can move your models. So you talk about like modelling for advantage. Well, my Imperial Knights, I can move the arm. So there might be some games where I want the pose to be like this, and he's got his... I'm careful with what I'm doing around there. He's got his hand out in a wacky direction. Do you know what I mean? For like mega line of sight. Yeah. Johnny's just said in chat, the prone Wraith Knights, you seen them?
The ones laying down?
Yeah.
I've heard about them. Absolutely ridiculous. But then you've got another one where the geezer's like modelled it like... I'm trying not to put my hand...
Yeah, don't punch the camera.
But he's like that. He's got one arm like massively up like that. Another arm sticking out like that. His legs doing the can-can. Yeah. And you're like, why have you done that? Well, we can see everything then, can't he?
It's like them lictors I have. I've got the crouching one and the stood-up one. Why would you not just build... Why would you ever build a stood-up one? More stuff can shoot you?
Mate, I just like... And I completely... And I understand that, like, it's difficult. Like, the rule system has advanced quicker than the models have advanced.
Yeah.
But they've got to get to a point where they sort these sort of weird interactions out, because you're like, it's not even that hard. If it's got a base, measure to the base. If it's a tank, Give us a ruling on what the tank actually is. Is it, if you stick the sponson out, can I charge that? Or are we just going to have people putting sponsons out to get line of sight and then pushing sponsons back in again and stuff? Is that really the world we want to live in?
No one wants that. No one wants to play a game. I think deep down, no one wants to play a game where these sort of questions come up and where people are even in a position by which they could manipulate a model for advantage. Nobody wants to be in that situation. No one wants that.
But are you? And it feels like you're almost getting to the point. Like, so let's use another really random example. So custodians, right? Some of them have got their spears up in the air. Some of them are holding their spears out, aren't they?
Yeah.
Am I min-maxing to buy all the ones with their spears up in the air? So I can crouch them all behind a bit of a terrain so no one's got their spears
Yeah, it's what
out.
Matt Riley just said. Custodians' bikes with the spears sticking up were a nightmare.
Yeah, because they should drive around with
you'd be
the
like, get them
spears
down,
up in the air.
get them down, boys, get them down. What you
Well, no,
doing?
but all the ones I had that I'd got off Adam were all magnetised. You could move the arms to wherever you wanted them to be. They're just driving around going like this.
Yeah, turn one, you're like, right, ready, position.
Yeah.
Get them down.
It's just madness.
It is mad. It is mad. And it's fixable. It's all fixable madness.
But then the issue you then get into is what happens to people that customise their miniatures. Put them on nicer bases.
Modelling for advantage.
Modelling them in a different pose. Because like, I've done one of my knights in a different pose. It's not a particularly good one.
What's he doing?
He's just standing on a bit of rock, isn't he? But like... So we're saying like no custom models to any events now. Every model has to be built exactly as it is on the box.
According to this judge,
Yes.
he would want everybody to have a standardised base height and model. Because like you imagine this character would probably take issue with a lot of the things we've just talked about.
But do you know what the other funny image I've had in my head this whole time is? And it's something he said in his bit. He was like, the players should have made us aware before the tournament. So what we're saying, like, everyone with a flyer, form a queue. Right, what we're going to do, we're going to measure them all. We're going to give you a stick. Do you know, like, when you haven't got kids? If you've got kids, you go to, like, a theme park, and if they're over 1.2, they get a green band. And if they're under, they get a red band. Because it's like, we just know that they can go on those rides. What's he doing? Putting coloured bands around the back. That one's over 5 inches, green band. That one's under, red band. And there's people like standing with the same model with like different bands on, being like, what is going on, mate?
Mate, that's the kind of world this judge wants to live in.
Oh, okay, what we'll do then, we'll model all our flyers on a 40-inch sodding flyer.
Bring it in on like a Gandalf staff.
Yeah, we'll be like, what?
And then call him over, be like, excuse me, mate, do you mind just measuring, see if my Storm Raven's 5 inches?
He's like, he's banging the light on the light on the ceiling, swinging as his Storm Raven's like flying around.
This plank could probably bring a stepladder and start measuring it, wouldn't he? Be like, okay, well, we best check, haven't we? See if it's over 5.
Oh, he's bamboozled me again.
Yeah. Oh, can I just check your tape measure and make sure it's not been tampered with? Like Jesus, mate. Have a word.
I think the judge is the one that needs looking at here.
I'd have questions about going to an event where someone might retrospectively write a blog about an individual and decide to ban them. Feels problematic. And if I was going to an event like that, I would also be a bit worried that they haven't got a way of dealing with people that are angle shooting or whatever else. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to hear about people that get banned from your circuit just because kind of like they thought, they've done other stuff.
Well, so we've got a few TOs in the chat, haven't we? I know Luke's in there. There's Matty or Stu's in
Matt,
there.
Yeah, doing
from
Fun Hammer. Is it next weekend?
Yeah,
Fun
next Sunday. So they're saying there's other cases of that's been going on. So what would a TO do? So what's a TO's conversation?
What about the angle shooting?
About the
situation?
angle shooting to this guy? Because obviously it's been going on at this event because he mentioned it. So as a player, there's a way of dealing with it, isn't there? And we've watched Luke's video on this and how you interact and how you call the judge over and what you're supposed to do. And that's maybe not the way that I would deal with it.
We'd resort to violence.
I'd tell the bloke he's a prick.
Yeah.
But as a judge, what is the judge doing about this?
Yeah, good question.
What should the judge
what would
be
you
doing
do?
about
What would
this?
you do in this? I'd love to know in this exact situation. You're called over. What would you do? And also with the angle shooting, if you're kind of suspicious that someone's doing it, what's the vibe?
Yeah.
Johnny says, just have a little board with a hole in the middle and slide it over the model. Does it go through? It's legal. Have a little thing.
Just like, what's that game they used to play when it was like a conveyor belt?
You had to do
make
the
the shape.
have a game of that on a conveyor belt. Models on the conveyor belt, please.
They're all just falling
Storm
off and
Ra-
smashing all over the deck. This is the pile of... No one claims it till we're finished.
Storm Raven's ready.
Storm Raven. Someone's bought one of those massive Thunderhawk gunships. It's like... Bang! Just takes the whole lot out. It's all just on the deck.
I thought I'd bring the Storm Raven for this.
But someone turned up to a storm.
Smashes into the wall.
Mate, someone turned up to Beachhead with a Storm Raven. Like you'll see
Thunderhead. We're getting mixed up. This is a Storm Raven.
No, Thunderhawk gunship.
A Thunderhawk gunship.
Thing was massive. Had this
Beast.
amazing custom base with this big like.
What you were playing on the table with it?
Playing on the table with this tentacle like. Mate, it was stunning.
Was it 5 inches high?
It was obviously over 5 inches high. The geezer turned up with it in a suitcase. Like a specially modified suitcase.
Wife's like, where are you going this weekend, darling? Just taking the storm.
Just taking
the Thunderhawk gunship out for a spin.
Yeah.
Okay, love, see you later.
Have fun again. Jesus
That's next level. Like we're total nerds, but like needed a suitcase.
He had a full-on suitcase, mate.
That's like
a wheelie.
Yeah, that's next level.
But
Luke says, to be honest, I don't really understand what the guy's done wrong.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Is like the guy hasn't actually done anything wrong. The judge has just got a bee in his bonnet about something.
And then he's saying, I'm talking about angle shooting. Joe Levine says, I thought the rule in 10th was flying vehicles or monsters must based regardless. No, because it's not flying. It wasn't flying. Reddit
It's
has
an
gone
engagement,
into,
and this is the
into
problem.
The
It's
details on this.
It's you have to base or be within engagement range. So you have to finish a charge if you can, base to base, or within engagement range.
But if you're above 5 inches, you ain't engagement range
because you can attack 5 inches vertically, or
that's another stupid interaction I had with Tom. I was playing Tom Hampshire around at mine ages ago, and he had a monster that was on the ground floor, and I had some intercessors on the first floor of like one of my terrain, and he just couldn't get them.
Yeah, I've had this.
There's just no way you could get them. We checked the rules, and he was like, "No, mate, they're safe there."
Yeah, I've had this before. And you're just like, "There's no way that I can."
Anything. And I had the OC off him on the objective, so I was like, "Well, that seems kind of again from a rules writing perspective, you're like, how's this a thing?
Yeah, how have we got to this point?
Who's writing this? And if you are writing this, why are we pretending it's a competitive rules?
Well, why? Why
on?
are we pretending that it's the way that this should have been written? So surely the judge should just say anything with a base,
it's chargeable. Yeah. If you the difference with the aircraft is if you're in hover mode, you act like a normal vehicle.
Yeah.
If you're not, then you can only be charged if you've got fly. But this guy obviously wasn't in. He was in hover mode. He was a normal vehicle.
But then the problem is that you then get to the point of going people reading a rules pack and changing their army list to suit a rules pack, and going, oh well, if there's going to be a disadvantage for using flyers, I'll just bring a load of other vehicles.
Change it up. Kipper says the flyer height thing just needs an alteration in Tony packs. All flyers are considered X height. Yeah, that's what you're just saying, isn't it, really?
I think you should say that if it's in fly mode, whatever. If it's in hover mode, they're all considered to be under 5 inches high. Done. Yeah. Doesn't matter what the model is then. You're not playing this silly game of bases. If it's in hover mode, any part of that vehicle is chargeable and can count as being engagement range.
Agree.
FAQ done. Hire me, G-dubs.
Yeah, Bosch. I think we've done a good job with that one, my friend. I was excited about talking to this. I knew you'd enjoy this.
Mate,
there's a lot to
do you know what? Like, I reckon
it's a messy.
I would love to have been a fly on the wall when that judge got home. Just literally, imagine the drive home. He's driving home. He's going, I've been hoodwinked here. I've been absolutely done.
He's getting fired up.
He's getting like really fired up. He's probably gone in. Like you said, his missus, kids are there. Kids are there. They've gone, Dad, how was it? He's just pushed them out the way. Not even said anything. The missus is like, I've put the tea on. He's like, leave that in the oven, love. I'm upstairs. I've got a Reddit post to write. Yeah. And he's walked upstairs and he's like, that can of Red Bull. He's like, just literally like shotgunned the Red Bull. And he's like, let's go. And do you know what he's also done? I reckon he's written it,
bamboozled on television,
copied it, the whole thing, and put it in a thesaurus.
Oh, you reckon he's thesaurused
it? But, mate, the vocabulary's like someone that's talking out the 1970s, mate. It's ridiculous.
Mate, it's a formal little piece. My favourite part of the whole thing, I'm aware of time limit.
No, don't worry about that.
Oh, right, okay. Where's the thing? Where have I got it? My favourite thing of this whole thing is the pictures. It's the one. How many's he done here? 1, 2, 3. Oh, maybe there's more that way. It's the multiple pictures that he's been like. I just want to show the community that it's 2200 hours. I've come home. I've done my measurements, and we've had a bamboozeling. It's the slideshow presentation.
So I haven't seen. Is he actually pushing the model down himself then?
There is an image. Yeah, there is one where he's got his finger. I'm looking at it now. There is one where you can see the finger is assertively pushing down. There's even a fold. There's even a slight concaving of the finger, which suggests he's applying
quite a lot of pressure.
Quite a lot of pressure. Yeah, this is no normal piece of practice.
So,
and he's got a comment, it's edited to not show the same image twice with a different type. So he's even, on the 29th of May, went back in here and edited it and has confirmed that the edit was to not show the same image twice. It wasn't to change any of his position. That stayed the same. It's to tinker with the pictures.
So basically what he's done is doubled down on it.
Oh, he's doubled down. He said, I've gone back in, I've looked at this and I've just edited the pictures.
But what I don't... Right, so... Oh my God, this bloke is such a loser. Like, genuinely, is this what... This is what... So I've spent all weekend organising a 40k tournament. I spent the whole weekend away from my family. You know, I've really given some time. I've made a bit of money. And this is how I then want to spend the Sunday evening after I got home. It's like pushing a Storm Raven down to prove that I can then ban some geezer for doing nothing wrong.
Someone's saying, hang on. He's measuring from the cork of the base. He's not even measuring... He's not
even measuring it properly.
He's not even measuring from the base. He's measuring from the top of the base that's got cork on it. So, like, that doesn't...
It doesn't mean anything.
The pic makes no sense until he says he's measuring from the cork reference point.
Mate, it's the geezer has obviously had some sort of break. Like, he's obviously had a break. Whether he's drunk too much Red Bull.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I love the fact you have to throw that in. What would it... oh, mate, imagine if this actually became like a whole thing. And then, like, there's a rebuttal from the fella who had Storm Raven Sammy.
Mate, we're going to get a blog about us tomorrow. He's going to blog us.
And he'll be like, no, this is what actually happened. Then there's like a rebuttal and it's like, well, actually, mate, yeah. I know you've been cheating on... My wife's been cheating... Like goes full soap opera with it.
What if this is the start of a Netflix documentary?
Oh, mate, what if this is the opening to the Netflix documentary?
Could be the opening
and me and you could then be like, 2 years later, be like sat in the studio, like Netflix, be like, well, yeah, Storm Raven Sammy, we got to know him, and I can't believe he did that with a shotgun to the judge in the end. Like, it didn't need that. Like, it was a bit damning, but I don't think it needed to go that far.
I didn't think it'd end in a terror attack.
Oh, God, Jesus Christ! I didn't go that far. Mate, imagine if it's like did you ever watch Don't F with Cats on there?
Johnny says out comes Henry Cavill.
Yeah, Henry Cavill's like sat in between us like, well, when I'm painting my custodies on my new Netflix documentary.
Henry Cavill sits down and he's basically like, so the Storm Raven is a Space Marine ship that starts talking about Storm Raven.
It's just me and you like getting slightly sweating. Cavill looks perfect, makeup done. Yeah. Literally like just me and you looking a bit sweating with our Coke Zeros in the corner. Being like, Cavs, we're going out drinking after this, son. Get on the old sherbs, Cavs.
All right, Cavers.
All right, Cavers, you geese. Let's get on the sherbet,
Cavs,
son.
How shit are custodies now? We'll be like that. Oh, shit, mate. Covers.
What? Who invited these two?
Yeah, I don't think we can have these two on the documentary.
Yeah, just they get
Where
cut
are they from again?
Netflix.
And Henry would be like, no, they literally broke the story. They were the ones that instigated the whole event, like the kidnapping, the shooting.
Yeah, like the high speed. Maybe like OJ. There'll be a high speed chase. If the Storm Raven doesn't fit, you must have quit. Oh, mate. He's a new O.J. Simpson.
Allegedly.
Do you just need that on the thing board? On the soundboard?
Yeah,
allegedly?
Johnny Marr says the judge comes out looking like Gandalf's mum. Gandalf's mum?
There's a joke here. There's like a punchline.
Why have I missed the joke?
There must be a punchline to that.
Telly says, you lads best watch out. He'll send a death strike down the phone to you. Death strike missile.
As long as I'm more than 5 inches off the ground, I don't care.
Yeah. That's what the documentary will be called, 5 inches.
Is it 5 inches?
Maybe this will escalate to like, no, I can't go there with actually.
Mate, I honestly...
I was almost going to take us to a really dark place.
Yeah, let's not go there just yet. I just find it like... And I think this kind of, in a wider thing, kind of sums this hobby up a little bit, is that we get to this point
For
where...
me, maybe that is too expensive.
Wrong
Well, it is too
soundboard. Sorry.
expensive.
Wrong soundboard.
But I think it sums the mentality up of this hobby a little bit, is that we're so fixated on creating, and even the way he's written that whole piece, it's like, I'm going to write this like super professionally, we're going to play a competitive tournament. He's got a, what was it called, like a period of a 2-year period of a pardon or something like that. You're like, mate, we're not in court, mate. You've just written
a pardon may be petitioned no earlier than the Alamo GT 2026.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Hang on. So, it's literally a lifetime. I mean, I did put lifetime ban in the thumbnail.
Yeah.
But like, so basically, 2026, he can apply for probation. But mate, he could maybe get a pardon.
We're playing a game where you've written that, right? Like you're some sort of lawyer, and then you've got a photo of you pushing a Stormraven down and not even measuring it properly. That's so symptomatic of this hobby, is that we think it's literally the most important thing that's ever happened in its life, and then we do weird stuff that doesn't like. It's just bonkers, mate.
This is a bonkers one. I've never known anyone get fully like banned for life for something that isn't really, really, really bad, like
fighting or something.
Yeah, like abuse, like literally completely losing the plot, dodgy dice.
Yeah, like
even people that I've known that have done like really sketch stuff. It's kind of like you're banned for a year, sort your stuff out, and come back. You know what I mean? Go and sort your stuff out, and then come back, do a redemption arc.
So that fellow I played did that, didn't he? He's done like a redemption arc.
Yeah, you can say his name if you want. Do you remember what he's called?
Alex Harrison.
He's done like a redemption arc, has he? Is he going to be in the documentary, do you think?
Well, they might bring him in, like just as like a sort of expert witness, and like this is what you can do to reform. But I think there's a lot of videos online of him doing some really shady stuff, and I think he got banned for a bit, and then he's come back, and like even like certain events he can't play, but others like will let him play, and
he's on a register sort of thing.
Yeah, you know, like. Jesus, why did you have to say it? You said it like that, and I had to stop myself from saying something else then. He's not allowed within 100 yards of a school.
Hey, allegedly.
Allegedly.
I'm worried. There's so much fucking around.
Oh, my days.
Johnny says, having a fun game, do whatever you like, but the moment you want to compete, there are standards.
Yeah, but what are the standards? That's the issue. So how has that rule been interacted for the rest of that tournament? So has everyone in that tournament with a Stormraven had that same interaction? No. Then it can't be competitive, can it?
No, yeah. There's a big issue of how the judges handled this, and there's just an issue with the rules as written, I'm afraid. Well, not rules as written, but rules as...
Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change my Funhammer list. I'm bringing 8 Stormravens.
Tell me you're taking loads of Stormravens.
I'm taking all the Stormravens on massive basis. Deal with that, Stu.
Good lad. Why have I just messed my green screen up?
I don't know.
Johnny says, playing football at school using a pile of coats or backpacks is fine, but then the World Cup is obviously different. You guys hit the nail on the head, though. Make the rule, if they're in hover, they can be charged. Simple. It does seem simple. Liam, we smashed that, mate, as a topic. I enjoyed that chat, my friend. We've done an hour.
And if Stormraven Sammy wants to reach out, give us his side of the story, we'll do a little interview of him with
slag
like
us off in comments.
Whatchamacallit face, like a blacked out face. Oh, God. Blacked out, not the other one. And he can be like, you know, when we like alter his voice and everything.
I should link me up to a heart rate monitor for this show.
Mate, it'd be so funny when Liam starts talking.
Off camera, it's at the end where I'm like, oh my God, what we said. So it's the back end where I'm like, hanging on for dear life.
Yeah, get him on, and then he can give his side of the story, and it can be like a whole thing. Let's see if we can do this. Someone reach out, find Stormraven Sammy, and get him on here.
I'd have him on. If anyone ever wants to come on this show to talk about anyone that we've slagged off, then they're super welcome.
Unless it's someone we actually know at the club, because then it's a bit too close to home.
Yeah. We'll do a pre-record and then we'll edit them to say what we want. So beep, like I did with my
redacted.
Evening, Stephen. You've joined us just as we've signing off, my friend. We've done an hour and 10. We're not doing an After Dark show. I'm doing one on Wednesday.
We will do one next Monday.
Yeah, we're doing them every week. So we're doing After Dark show next Monday.
Yep.
And I'm doing a member show on Wednesday.
And if anyone's got any topics they want us to discuss on the After Dark show,
fire them over.
Put them in the Discord for Paul, or text me because I don't interact with Discord.
No, put them in the thing. I found some very good other content that I wanted to go through with members on Reddit, which are a lot of fun. I'm going to be trialing the painting and chat and chill thing, so I'm going to see if I can get the room set up for that on Wednesday, but I can't promise anything. If I can't, then I'll just do a member show and I'll chat to you guys directly.
You should be able to set that one up, can't
you?
Yeah,
that'd work.
One down.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, and then you'd have to have the microphone off to...
Yeah, I'll have one down and then one at me, and then you can guys see me. Because I'm getting a lot of stick for us not doing enough Old World content, so as Liam will testify, there's
a lot of Bretonians over there trying to be painted.
And I got my boy Brandon printing some stuff for us, which is cool. Lads, that was a great chat. Enjoyed it loads. Liam, thank you as always, my friend, for doing this with us, and appreciate everybody that got involved in the discussion. That was a fun one. Oh, hang on.
What's going on?
Yeah, we've got a good name here. The Disgustingly Resilient Podcast has come in and said, as a victim of the toilet dice incident, fuck cheaters, good chat. Spot on, mate. Consider becoming a member of the show. Link to do so is in the description below. It's just $2.99 a month. You get access to our Discord. You get extra member videos. You get to hang out and chat nonsense with us all day long, which is becoming a great distraction from work. So come and get involved in a Discord. I'm really slouched this episode. People are always surprised that I'm tall because I slouch so much.
It's because you're sat
when I
next
did the
to
stream
me.
the other day and people were like, oh my God, Paul's not like he's tall.
Not 4'5".
Yeah, powerful,
Okay.
It's fucking disgusting.
Lads, appreciate you all. That was great fun. I will see you all on Wednesday and Thursday. And me and Liam will be back next Monday. Look after yourselves, boys. Take care.
Bazoinkas.